This is the Senior Safety Advice Podcast, your daily moment of calm, guidance, and encouragement as we navigate aging, caregiving, and living well together. Now, let's get on with today's episode.
Welcome to today's daily Senior Safety Advice tip. I'm Robin Schultz, and today we're talking about something that nearly every family faces at some point. What happens when family members don't agree about care decisions? If you've ever sat at the kitchen table or on a family Zoom call trying to make a plan for an aging parent and it got tense, you're not alone. I've seen it happen many times, both personally and professionally. One sibling feels mom needs to move to assisted living, another insists she's fine at home, and someone else stays quiet just to avoid conflict. Meanwhile, the parent might have a completely different opinion altogether. These moments can bring out deep emotions, love, fear, guilt, and even resentment, but they also offer a chance to practice understanding and compassion, both for ourselves and for each other. When I've worked with families as part of our senior safety advice community, I've often found myself in the middle of these emotional crossroads. One thing that stands out to me still involved 3 adult children trying to make care decisions for their father, who was in the early stages of dementia. The oldest daughter felt strongly that he needed to move into memory care right away. The son was determined to keep him at home, certain that a move would only make things worse. The youngest, who lived out of state, was caught in the middle. She just wanted everyone to stop arguing and find some peace. As I sat with them, their father quietly folded and unfolded a napkin in his lap, completely unaware of the tension surrounding him. That moment has stayed with me for a long time. It reminded me that beneath every disagreement about care, there's something tender and universal. We all want the same thing. We want the people we love to be safe and respected and cared for. We just have different ideas about how to get there. Disagreements about care are rarely just about the decisions themselves. They're more about values and fears and personal experiences. One person might value independence, another might prioritize safety, one might fear losing a parent, another fears making the wrong judgment call. When families take the time to name those emotions out loud, it can change everything. You might say, "I'm scared Dad will feel abandoned if we move him," or "I'm afraid he'll get hurt if we let him stay at home." Naming emotions doesn't fix the problem instantly, but it does soften the edges. It shifts the tone from accusation to understanding. No matter how far apart opinions seem, there's usually one shared goal you all want, and that's what's best for your loved one. When emotions start to rise, it helps to pause and ask, what are we all trying to achieve here? Chances are everyone will agree on some version of one of these three things. We want mom or dad to be safe, we want them to feel respected, and we want the family to stay connected. Once those shared values are on the table, it becomes easier to work towards solutions instead of getting stuck on the sides. Even if your loved one has memory loss or physical limitations, it's important to involve them whenever possible. You can ask simple, open questions like, what feels most comfortable for you right now? What would help you feel safe at home? Is there something you're afraid might change? Even when someone can't make complex decisions anymore, being heard gives them dignity. And when they feel included, they're often more open to accepting help or change later. In most families, caregiving responsibilities are uneven. One person might do the day-to-day care, another might manage finances or coordinate services from a distance, someone else might not be involved at all, and that can cause tension. It helps to acknowledge those differences openly. If you're the one doing most of the hands-on care, honestly, it's okay to say, "I'm exhausted and I need help." If you live farther away, you can say, "I can't be there in person, but I can take over scheduling appointments or handling bills." Each role has value. What matters most is that everyone feels respected for what they can do instead of blamed for what they can't. Sometimes, even with the best of intentions, family conversations keep looping in circles, and that's when it's okay to bring help in the form of a neutral third party, maybe a geriatric care manager, a social worker, an occupational therapist, or a family mediator. A neutral professional can help focus on facts and goals instead of emotions. I've seen families shift from months of frustration to real progress after just one facilitated meeting. When family members disagree, it's also easy to fall into a who's right mindset, but no one truly wins in a family conflict about care. So try to move from convincing your siblings to understanding them. Ask yourself, what are they afraid of losing? Maybe your sister fears losing her connection to mom. Maybe your brother fears losing control. Once you start listening through the lens of compassion, solutions become easier to find and relationships start to heal. If your family is struggling to agree about care decisions, it doesn't mean you're failing. It means you care deeply. So here's what I want you to take away from today's episode. First, start with shared goals: safety, dignity, and connection. Second, include your loved one's voice whenever possible. Third, acknowledge each person's role and limits. Fourth, seek neutral guidance if you're stuck. And fifth, lead with compassion, not competition. These conversations aren't easy, but they can bring families closer when handled with honesty and heart. So thanks for joining me today. If this episode brought you a little comfort or clarity, please share it with someone who might need the same encouragement. You'll find more practical guides, family insights, and caregiving support at seniorsafetyadvice.com. And remember, come back tomorrow for another daily moment of calm, guidance, and encouragement as we navigate aging, caregiving, and living well together. Until next time, take care of yourself and the ones you love. Bye.
This podcast is part of our mission to help older adults live safely and independently. If you'd like to take the next step, visit aginginplacedirectory.com, where you'll find specialists, helpful resources, and inspiration to make every home your place to thrive.